let's say I catch a whale, right?
Yeah.
And it's time to haul it in. What are the things that I need to do to haul in this whale? I've only got a small fishing boat here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not fit for a whale,
Yeah.
but I want to catch a whale. What thing? How do I get that person on board?
Yeah.
Welcome to Happy Millionaire, a show about how to make profit with a positive impact and stay happy along the way.
So long story short, I put together a job description, and this job description isn't like your average job description that you'd find on like Workable or a typical job board. Mine was very different. Mine's like, yo, I've started a brand 5 years ago. This is the traction we've got, and these are this is the kind of person I'm looking for. And I wrote it very colloquial. I was like, this is my tech stack. You love this and you understand everything because I don't. And
I remember.
And
we'll put the link into We'll put the link into.
I'll put the link in it.
Yeah.
Because I think most people like looked at it and like, what is this guy on? This is not your average.
Yeah, it's quite relaxed. It didn't feel like a job.
No, I would say it felt like a job. I basically like painted the vision. Like the mission is, and the vision is to make it easier to be healthy than it is to be unhealthy, right? It's a very, very grand vision. But also I want to give the impression to this person that, you know, it's essentially a co-founder role. We're going to have a ton of fun, and they're going to be responsible for building a tech team, but also being a critical part of the culture that I want to create at the Doctor's Kitchen, right? Like a real fun-loving atmosphere with a very serious mission at the helm of it. Look, this is a serious problem, but I'm going to throw you in the deep end, but I'm going to have your back. Like, I'm not going to let you drown. And when there's stuff that you don't know, like, I will have your back on that.
Okay.
Anyway, so I sent this around to a few people. I sent it to you, and I put it on a couple of job boards. I had quite a bit of a response, mate. There's like, I'm interviewing 6 people, and I wanted to chat to you before I start interviewing them all, because I don't know what I should be asking, if I'm honest. Like, everyone's read the job description, so what am I looking for when I have this initial chat with these folks today?
Yeah. All right. I think the number one part is, like, to you, it's so clear that your purpose means everything to you, and it should mean something very significant to the person you're meeting, right? So, you know what's interesting? Some of the best candidates, they come in and they start already talking about how your business aligns with them. That's what I love. You know, that the classic question is, why are you here? At that point, I'm hoping the purpose comes out. Right. If they go, hey, I really want to join an early stage company, like that, to me, that's not good, because there's about a bazillion early stage businesses. Like, I think, you know, for me, it has to be someone who is tied to your purpose. I'd say that's probably number one. Then I'd say number two for me then would be, because you're so early, right? And there's people, just for the listener, like, there's so many different stages of a company, right? You've got like the incubation phase, then you've got like an early stage where you have a product, and you know, you want to now push to customers. I guess phase 3 would be, now you've got some customers and you've got product. Then after that, it would be, you know, you've now got probably some money behind you, and you've got the business is starting to accelerate. You've got a good number of customers, and then obviously at some moment it goes corporate and goes public, right? Yours is in my mind like phase 2, right? You've got a product, but now you need to get more people to use it. You've already got quite a good number of users, like 2,000 plus, which is great, but we need someone who has been in that phase, because right now in this phase, you're going to be collecting so much customer feedback. You're going to reiterate the product, and you're trying to also figure out your product market fit. Like, what are the features that when people go on the Doctor's Kitchen app that people constantly use, right? And we have to then double, triple down on those. So there needs to be this commercial element that they've got, and plus that experience of being, I guess, very adaptable in this phase. And a lot of people can't do it. If you've come from a corporate job, unless you've worked on very small projects in a corporate place, it's very hard to have that ability to keep on changing directions. This is how you operate. Like, you have to keep on moving. So number 2 to me will be, like, have they had that true early stage experience where they, you know, the ship keeps on moving left and right, and they keep on falling essentially on the ship. It's like they might capsize and come back in, right? But do you know what I mean? They have to have that experience. If not, like, it's so difficult to teach that one. So in my mind, that is super, super key. So, you know, what questions you can ask there. Tell me a project which you built from scratch, like recently. Because you don't want to send your last job. You want to just hear it out from them, because the one they're going to say is the one that means a lot to them. Then I'd say the third one is just what the phase of life they're in, just like how important is the success of this project. What you need right now, you need someone who's going to slog it. So you need someone who is ready to give a large chunk of their life. They're going to literally prioritize the startup over their family and their personal priorities. And how do you ask that? That's a more tricky one. I feel you got to ask them like, how important is the success of this app? And you got to look them right in the eyes, because it's a problem. A lot of people, and I've seen this in my companies, they will give a big answer, but deep down, they've got other priorities, and that's fine. Depending on the phase of the business, right? If it goes a bit later, as you grow, that's fine. But in this early phase, you need someone who's going to be, walking with you, like with holding hands. You work bloody hard, right? So I'd say that's really important. And I've given 3. I'm going to pause. Any questions before I?
I've actually been writing everything down. I've
Okay.
actually got 4. So just to summarize, do they align with their vision and purpose, and telling me what brought them to this point and this conversation, why they responded to the job description in the first place? The fact that we're in phase 2, have they been in this phase yet? Have they struggled to find product market fit? How they've iterated to find product market fit? Third thing is sort of related, is like early stage experience, like have they had battle scars? If they're coming from a corporate background, they might not like the constant changing nature of early startup phase. And that sort of question to sort of dig into that is telling me about a project that they've built from scratch recently. And the fourth
See, on that
thing
one
is
as
phase of
well,
life.
sorry to cut you off, on that corporate one, and also you got to figure out, did they have, what sort of support did they have while building it in that corporate place? So, sometimes these corporate ones, they get like a big swanky like office and $10 million to build a team. So it's like, it's not real. Were you also involved in like incorporating the company? Were you involved in doing all the legal work and the setup and the operations? Because a lot of these people in corporate side, they're literally given like a throne. It's very different in a startup. Okay, so any questions on those? I can give like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, let's go for a couple more, and I've got questions about red flags.
Okay, so
what red flags I should be looking out for?
So commercial experience, right? So you'll find a lot of people that build technology and they just know it.
Yeah.
They just architecture, they get it, they know how to build a good product, right? However, you ask them, hey, do you know how this is going to sell in the market? Like how are we going to get this product in the hands of people, i.e. the go-to-market, the commercial piece, right? They're not very good because they're just so focused on their lane. You need someone who's actually put their head up and understands how to also sell this product a little bit, because they should be familiar who that customer is as well, and tell you, hey, like, so I would ask them, how do you think we should be promoting this app, and like, who do you think our ideal customer is? Like, they're not going to exactly know, but they should have a bit of a feel. They should be able to have a conversation about the commercial piece. So I'd say that's very, very important. So just ask them some commercial led questions, like, how are we going to promote it, and who's our ideal customer? Like, those are very 2 easy questions to ask. The other piece I would say is probably hiring. Like, ask them, how many people have you hired yourself? We're hoping that they can hire. I'm sure anyone who's listened to this pod has hired someone not good, and it is literally so painful. I'm sure you have as well. It's important that they've already made some mistakes. And be careful with this question, right? Because a lot of people will go, hey, yeah, I had a team of like 3 people, 5 people, 20, 30, 70, whatever. But they inherited a lot of that. So they didn't really hire it, right? So just say, like, how many people have you personally hired? So that's the question. And how many of those people, if you got this job, would literally join in a heartbeat? Right. I like asking that question to just see if they can actually bring people with them. You are playing poker a little bit in the interview, right? You are. So you just have to like try to position it so you can read the hand better, right? Or read what they're going to say a bit better. So you're going to interview, let's say 5, 6, 7 people, right? Keep the questions consistent. Whatever questions we've given today in this list, I've given a good number, and a lot of them have been on the fly. So you may need to polish them in your own way. But I'd ask those same questions to each person. I take notes in the interview as well, because trust me, you're not going to remember it. The most important piece in all this, like, you can do the best interview, but honestly, the most important thing will be the references, right? By far. I feel that is where you're going to get the most information. Like, if you are interviewing someone, like, and I'm anchoring the listener right now, like, it's going to be, it's going to be someone that it's going to be a colleague, right? And just making sure you do the references, right? Like, referred people are always going to be better, because especially from someone you really trust, because they probably worked with them.
Just to sort of summarize the last bit, what I am interested in is, how do you refine the ideal customer and then target them as well,
Yeah.
especially the early adopters. And then the hiring piece that's such a good question. I probably wouldn't have asked that. Like, how many people have you personally hired? That's a really
And another
good
question is, how
targeted
many of those
question.
would you rehire? Right.
How many people?
And
Yeah.
so
yeah,
this
yeah.
is really interesting. If they give you an answer like 80-90%, they're talking shit, right? Because I'm telling you right now, yeah,
Really?
because like if you look at the hiring stats, let's say you hire 10 people, right? 3 aren't going to work out, right? Because they're maybe not
Right.
culture fit or they're just not good. Then there's another 30% which you're like, okay, they're good enough, they're okay. So you're left with another 40%. And out of that, like, 10-15% is like, oh, this is good, thumbs up. Yeah, I would work with them, but they're good, right? And then there's like another chunk, which is like probably the last 30%, which is like, or 20%, they're like, wow, these are rock stars. I would work with them every single day of my life again, right? So if someone is telling you that, it's 70%, is very unlikely.
I thought of another question within that category actually is their firing experience. So how many people have actually
That's
fired?
a good, very good
Because
question.
finding someone who hires relentlessly but doesn't have the cognitive bandwidth or the bravery to fire is probably just as dangerous, right?
So again, this goes back to the poker thing, right? So you just say, okay, how many people have you hired? They go 20. Okay, great. And how many of those 20 have you fired? Right, just do it straight away. Yeah, then they like if they're the right people for the job and it's meant to be, it will work out.
Yeah, for sure. I was also going to ask about raising experience. So, if they have been in an early stage startup, have they had experience of going into pitches? I want to know that they can carry themselves and at least speak articulately about their area of the business in front of people who are going to potentially throw money at it.
Yeah. How you vet that is, on your final round, you do a presentation. They have to do a presentation, right? I would therefore ask them to solve a problem of yours, maybe one or two.
Okay.
Right. And you get them to present, and then therefore you can see how good they are at presenting.
How many rounds should interviewing be? I mean, this is literally like an informal chat that I'm having with most people today. But
so first chat, 60 minutes. First call should be an intro call. Your next one should be a deep dive. Some people even like doing an hour and a half on that call, and that's just you and them. At that point, you need someone else to interview them. So someone technical. You want to find someone who's ideally done that role. And then it's a presenting round. Some tests are good just in case, like personality tests and things like that. Personality tests or actually a technical test maybe.
Are there things that are like sort of grey areas?
Like one of the things that we do in Screen, giving them opportunity to ask questions at the end. It's just etiquette. Like they've given you their time, you got to give your time. Talk speed. So, if English is not their first language, it's very important that we talk at a good pace. That's again another.
That's a really good point.
Big problem we've seen in interviews.
When you say references, right? Candidate's going to give a whole bunch of references. So how do you find these other references? Do I literally go to that old company's HR and just be like, I'm thinking about hiring this person who can give a reference, or like how do I literally go about
Yeah,
that?
this is extra work, right? So so what you want to do is you want to go into the previous company, and like in your case it's you're hiring someone who's a CTPO. So you might want to look at the other exec members, right? And hopefully there's some mutual connections you've got. But out of pure respect, tell the candidate that you're going to intend to speak to people, so it's not catching them off guard.
In terms of red flags,
yeah, I'd say answering my question. I'm telling you right now, so many people don't answer the question. That's maybe because they're not present or they don't want to answer that question. They want to go, hey, I ain't got that one prepared. Number two is just the energy. You just know when you're speaking to someone, it just feels natural and it feels good. If you're having to make a lot of effort, right? This is the first date, right? It's not going to work out. So, thirdly is how in line are they with what you're trying to do here? Because they're going to have to go through so many walls. Fourth is I like to know if they've got some good questions planned because they've done their research. That means they do really care. There needs to be a link between this person's purpose and your purpose. So yeah, I'd probably say those are probably the main things.
Yeah. Let's say I catch a whale, right?
Yeah.
And it's time to haul it in. What are the things that I need to do to haul in this whale? I've only got a small fishing boat here.
Yeah.
It's not fit for a whale.
Yeah.
But I want to catch a whale. What thing? How do I get that person on board?
Enthusiasm. Yeah, you just have to be really, really pumped up, right? They're going to feel your energy. Number 2 is just keep on selling the vision, right? Or know what buttons are working, right? Because that's really the formula. Like whatever's grabbed them, you need to work out, you have to decode it. Then I would say, like, really get your investors and your advisors to help. It's not just going to be you here. Like, you need the support of all of us. Do you know what? Like, you have to, unfortunately, and this is where it comes to that woo-woo bit, but it's like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, right? You can't push it too. If you're pushing too hard, it feels a bit forced. So it's a numbers game as well. So this is my fourth one. It's just a numbers game, right? So make sure you've got a good pipeline of other people, because that's going to connect to your confidence. You know, life is a numbers game.
Look, if you're them, if you're a CTO, CPO, CTPO, whatever, and you're coming into a company, what things do you want me to demonstrate to convince you that, you know what, I'm super excited about this company and this guy's got my back and we're going to make this work?
So I feel like one thing that we've missed out on is, like, you know, you're an early stage business, and you know, anyone who's starting an early stage business is not probably gonna have that much cash, right? And you're an example. Ideally, you know, we raise some money before we hire this person. So I feel they need to really believe that you can raise the money. I think you need to just say, look, you and me are gonna again hold hands, and we're gonna go raise some money as soon as you join. I've already lined up a bunch of investors, VCs, whatever you want to do. I want 1 month or 2 months just on board and understand the product. And then after that, then we're going to go pitch. And you basically need to raise money quite quick. Faster the better.
Yeah. What my pitch is going to be, it's like, you're going to come on board.
Yeah.
We're going to create this product roadmap together. I've pretty much done 60, 70% of it.
Yeah.
And with the ideal person on board, we're going to look like an attractive power couple to people who want to throw money at it, so we can grow this thing. There might be at that phase of life that you mentioned earlier that they're willing to, you know, try this out a couple of years, see how it goes.
You're getting a lot of equity, right? And that is, you know, one thing I retail anyone is that if you want to be rich or have millions in the bank account, right, it's going to be from an equity sale, most likely. You're going to be, and what does that mean? It's like selling some shares in a business, because, you know, you get the tax is not as much, and at the same time, you know, you can see 1 million, 2 million, you know, in that transaction. Whereas, you know, you can do a salary, and, you know, roughly if you make 100, 200 grand a year, most of it gets taxed. So you have to, it is all about the equity. If you're working for someone, make sure you do try to get some equity. And if you're founding a company, that equity is important. And one thing I just want to tell the listener as well is just, I know Rupy's building a tech company, and if you're thinking about starting something, I know you're probably looking at Rupy, say Rupy's got a big audience already, and you know, it's a bit easier for him, and he's got me. Okay, that's fair to say, but I think if you find your specific niche, which you do have more knowledge than others, which I believe everyone will have something, even if it's wacky and crazy, there will be something. And, you know, your main objective will be trying to monetize it, right? So Rupy's monetizing all his knowledge is through an app. He's already done it through podcasts, done it through a book, but he's realized that to win big, he has to do it through the app. And what does win big mean? Is it'll touch more people, and from a money perspective as well. So then reinvest it to then help others. So I feel everyone's got their own niche. They just need to figure out that niche. And, you know, Rupy's been on this mission for years, and I just feel everyone needs to go on that mission. I really hope everyone does find it if it feels right to them. If you know, from listening to this podcast and it's like, hey, shit, I need to do something, and you can feel it in your heart, like when I'm speaking right now, then I believe there is something there for you.